Seconded.
Looking at the agenda.
Councillor Knott. All in favor? That motion passes. We have the minutes of our regular meeting March 9th. Motion to adopt. Moved by Councillor Knott, seconded by Councillor Van Bynen. All in favor? That motion passes. We do not have any audiences with council tonight. So first up, we have the Legion Grant and Aid. Oh, don't restart your computer. Sorry. There we go. Yay. My computer is just thinking and not responding. So if somebody has the report open and wouldn't mind
I can.
reading.
So at the regular meeting of December 8th, 2025, it was brought out of camera. Council's decision to offer the Slocan Legion a grant in aid for heating costs throughout the winter months due to heat pump failure. That in response to the failure of the Legion's building's heat pump equipment, the village provided grant and aid to the Slocan Legion to assist with heating costs during the months of December 2025 to March 2026, for providing an RDCK community development grant of up to $4,000, representing 50% of the heating costs. Staff are now in receipt of the heating bills for the hall and have attached the calculation details, and there is a recommendation that I will move that council provide a $1,382.37 RDCK Community Development Grant to the Slocan Legion, representing a grant and aid for 50% of the hall's heating costs throughout the months of December 2025 to March 2026.
Okay, so moved by Councillor Knott. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Van Bynen. Any comments? Hearing none. Great. Sounds like the councillor left. All in favor? And that motion passes. So next up, under requests, we have the Slocan Village Market Landscaping and Parking Plan proposal. I'm not sure if you wanted to
Sure, I can. I'll just read the letter briefly and then step outside.
Okay.
So for the attention of Mayor and Council, we've been developing a landscaping and parking plan for the south side of Slocan Village Market that we feel would add value to our commercial core and help support the Herald Street beautification project slated for this year. We are proposing leveling the site and laying down road crush and small curb-style concrete barriers to establish angle parking stalls. We are also proposing laying a paving stone path to connect to the front sidewalk and a paving stone seating area at the corner of Herald and Ward, which we will set up 2 picnic tables seasonally. The plan also includes planter boxes under the drip line of the roof and some potted plants and trees to support the finished look and feel of the Herald Street project. All this work is to be completed using non-permanent or fixed materials and supplies, so it can be easily removed at any future time should the village have other plans for the land. In addition, we are proposing this improvement of village property to be completed entirely of our own funds. The market is committed to the ongoing maintenance of the area, ensuring the area is clean and well looked after. We are seeking the village's go-ahead to proceed with these works in advance of the Herald Street project, as we believe this creates highly visible parking, which is easily accessible during any potential traffic disruption / road closure. Sincerely, Jordan Knott.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. So we would just note that he left the meeting at 7:08 due to potential conflict of interest. So thoughts?
No, I think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
More parking, more, he's gonna beautify himself, like why would we
Yeah.
not let him?
Yeah. Councillor Buller, any?
Yeah, it seems reasonable to me.
Yeah.
I know it's
Okay.
going to be a hassle for a lot of the businesses, so I think anything that helps them through that process is a benefit. And if it's easily to change, if we so decide to do renovations on Ward Avenue, then it's not a problem at all.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, and of note that it's all on, their dime as well, so I think, yeah. So would somebody like, there's a recommendation that council approve or not approve the request?
I would move to approve the request.
Okay, moved by Councillor Buller, seconded Councillor Van Bynen. All in favor? That motion passes. And we should probably go. Bring it back in, yeah. Just for you with your hat on. The village should approve with gratitude to the village market. So, next up, we have a request from the Tree Huggers Society. The Tree Huggers.
Broadly.
Yeah. Okay. Yay. So attached for council's consideration is correspondence received from Lisa Frente on behalf of Tree Hugger Event Society requesting permission to host the 4th annual Harmony Community Festival on the beach on Friday, July 3rd to Sunday, July 5th, 2026. The festival is proposed to be held at the beach with food and artisan vendors, workshops, arts, exhibits, children games, and more. The event will be a sliding scale donation. Organizers will have applied for grants and will fundraise in advance to cover the cost of the event. So in terms of specific requests, the first is to extend the sound curfew by 1 hour to allow live music until 11 p.m. on Saturday, July 4th. From staff, as the festival location is proposed outside the residential areas, and there should be no issue with granting special permission to allow the outdoor live music on Saturday, and council has approved this extension request in the past years. Use of beach washrooms. For the past few festival years, council allowed beach washrooms to remain open, with the organizers responsible for cleaning and providing paper products. Public Works will not attend to toilet backups during the weekend, and organizers should be responsible for having a plumber on call for maintenance. That the village pay for 1 portable toilet. For the past few festival years, organizers were required to provide toilets due to potential for added pressures on the septic system. It is recommended that organizers provide an additional portable toilet. In the past, council has provided RDCK Community Development Grant for this purpose. The next request is surrounding the generator rental. It's a request for support. Next is the village improves the general lighting in the parking lot. It's been raised in past years. It would be costly, and it would have to be part of a long-term waterfront plan. Access to the beach by Public Works up to a week in advance of the event for delivery of sand. Public Works assisted with this in the past years and can do that again. Extra garbage cans. Organizers are requesting the village provide a few additional cans. The village has provided none in the past, and it shouldn't be an issue. All garbage must be removed and disposed of by the organizer. Set up and take down. Set up to begin 1 day before and clean up to finish a day after the event. It was noted by Public Works staff that items remained at the beach several weeks past the date, last Harmony Festival. As Harmony will be held at the public beach and summer days are quite busy, organizers will be advised that if items are not removed by deadline council agrees upon, then the event may not continue. by the decided upon deadline, all event equipment must be removed. So it's just comments from staff is speaking to the clarity of the end removal and cleanup timeline. And then other comment from staff, Tree Hugger community events have been well attended and no incidents have been reported. Organizers are solely responsible and liable for all vendors at the event. Vendors must be informed of appropriate legal and family-friendly conduct, and organizers are also responsible for ensuring vendors have the appropriate health and safety plans in place. The organizers are in receipt of our special event application form and will complete this if approved by council. It requires sign-off and approval from the Slocan Lake RCMP detachment as well as the fire department. So I won't read the rest of the report, but there's some recommendations and alternatives presented by staff. The first is general approval of the event date, pending submission of completed special events application, proof of insurance, and all other village requirements. Okay, moved by Councillor Knott. Is there a seconder? Councillor Van Bynen. Any comments? Hearing none, all in favor? That motion passes. The next is the extension that outdoor live music on Saturday, July 4th be permitted to extend to 11 p.m.
I'll move that.
Okay, moved by Councillor Knott, seconded Councillor Fuller. I did see you that time. Any comments? Hearing none, all in favor? That motion passes. The next one is that council approve or not approve the request for permission to use the washrooms, and that they're responsible for cleaning, removing garbage, etc. Okay, moved by Councillor Van Bynen, seconded Councillor Knott. Any comments? Hearing none, all in favor? That motion passes. The next is a request that council approve or not approve covering the cost of one portable toilet to spread out usage during the event at $950 to be withdrawn from the RDCK development or discretionary fund. Go ahead, Councillor.
Given that that is a cost that we have provided in the past, I will move it.
Okay, moved by Councillor Knott, seconded Councillor Van Bynen. Any comments? Hearing none, all in favor? That motion passes. The next one is a financial request covering the cost of the generator rental and fuel valued at approximately $600.
Did we do that in the past?
No, that's a new
No,
request.
it's a new request. Yeah. So thoughts on that one, or?
It's my feeling that we're already providing pretty substantial financial support for the. I believe that there's also, there's not just the toilets, but the staff time and the sand and the various other things that we do provide, I think, has been established in terms of what we can commit to. I think that this would be over and above what we had committed to in previous years, and maybe outside of what I would feel comfortable with personally.
Okay. Any other thoughts? Yeah.
I agree with that. Like, it's
Okay, so I did would somebody like to make a motion, or was your hand up there, Councillor
I
Buller?
just could not hear Councillor Van Bynen. If you just talk a little bit louder. I couldn't hear what you said, Councillor Van Bynen.
Yeah,
I just said I agree with, we've given them lots so far, so I think we're good with that.
okay. Go ahead, Councillor Knott.
I'd move that we not approve that, the fifth motion for the generator rental and fuel.
Okay, do I have a seconder for that motion? Councillor Van Bynen. Any further comments? Hearing none, all in favor? That motion passes. The next is that Public Works assists with beach access for the purpose of delivering a load of sand.
I'll move that we approve that.
Okay, moved by Councillor Knott, seconded Councillor Buller. All in favor? That motion passes. And the next is that we either approve or not approve setup to begin one day before the event on Thursday, July 2nd, and clean up to finish the day after the event.
Yeah, I approve that.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Moved by Councillor Van Bynen. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Knott. All in favor? That motion passes. You got that, Fran?
Yes, I just had one question about the portable toilet, the RDCK.
Community development?
Development?
Yeah.
Okay, that's all. Thank you.
Perfect. All righty. Next, oh, come on. I might have to go on my phone. I mean, I read this on my phone before, so I might have to do this thing. Sorry. Okay, so the next is a request by the Slocan Valley Historical Society. And we have a letter. It says, "Dear Mayor and Councillors, the steam winch display in the campground is about 25 years old and doesn't appear to have been maintained at all during that time. For visitors, it looks like an old piece of mining equipment, but there is no story behind it. Why is it there? Was there a mine there sometime?" The Historical Society would like to redo this historic display to tell the story of this 125-year-old steam winch, which sits in the old Ottawa mine mill site. It also was a place that was used for housing during the internment. The site has a lot of history, and we'd like to share it with the visitors and residents alike. The attached document outlines what we are proposing, which of course is funding dependent. If we are successful with our grant application, we can move forward with general site cleanup and signage. If we are successful with our second application, we can move forward with the roof, which will protect the site and reduce maintenance. We are requesting permission to proceed with our plan once we have the funding in place. Thanks for your consideration. Joyce Johnson from the Historical Society. So yeah, I think it's a village asset, so they're asking permission to move forward.
I move permission.
Okay, so moved by Councillor Van Bynen that we approve approves the Slocan Valley Historical Society's request to maintain and work on the site. So moved by Councillor Van Bynen, second Councillor Knott. Any comments?
Good, no. Great, worthwhile project.
Yeah, absolutely. with gratitude again. All in favor? That motion passes. So next up, we have a request from the Slocan 125th birthday celebration. Attached for council's consideration is correspondence received from the committee. The committee would like to update council on plans to date and obtain approval for several requests. The celebration is being scheduled for Saturday, July 18th, 2026, with a dinner and dance at the Legion Hall the evening before on July 17th. There's a draft schedule of events. Friday is the dinner and dance. Saturday, there's a number of things, including pancake breakfast, a parade, carnival game, Slocan Farmers Market, screening of The Last Stop at the Legion, dedication of a time capsule, tree planting, birthday cake, rubby ducky race, rubby ducky fundraiser for the Slocan Valley Historical Society. Launch the ducks at the Lower Bridge at Springer Creek Campground. Other community organizations involvement will be the Horse Riders Society, the Wellness Practitioners, the Fire Department. The committee has done tremendous work over the past week, brainstorming ideas and are actively seeking funding opportunities. Included in council's package is the proposed parade route, as well as a road closure map showing the closure area. So there's 4 specific requests coming to council. The first is to block off Harold Street from the Wellness Center north to Delaney on Saturday, July 18th. The parade will navigate along that route at 11 a.m., but the street would be closed to traffic other than that. The second is the place for porta potties next to the old WI building on Harold Street. The third is they're requesting funds from the village to cover event expenses. And the fourth is that mayor and council attend and officially cut the birthday cake and dedicate the time capsule and tree. It's the committee's hope to have a capsule and tree placed on the site of the new housing project. MLA Morissette and Director Popoff will also be invited. In terms of staff review, as with community events, the event and attendees must adhere to facility rules. So not scheduled for this event, outdoor live music must not extend beyond 10 p.m. I'm not going to read everything because it's been in there. It's in the report. So discussion. Go ahead, Councillor Knott.
My first thoughts are just around the proposed road closure. I think like closing the section of road from Delaney to the wellness center for the duration of the parade makes sense to me, but to have the section from Ward to the wellness center closed for the duration of the day, I think would kind of dilute the celebration. Like it would make sense to me to more so concentrate the celebration onto one block. I think that you'll get a bit like just more concentration of activities and people and kind of more of like a carnival kind of feel. I mean, that's just my feeling. I certainly like totally support having the parade and having the parade do a length, but then to have that full section closed, I feel like maybe a little bit more than is needed. Personally.
Yeah, was there a conversation at committee?
There was a little bit of conversation because this end toward the hotel didn't necessarily want, but yeah, you're right. We need to do it just like he did it for when he had his block party, Johnny. That same culture, not up.
Yeah, there's just not a lot, going on that, like,
No.
on that, like, I mean, I understand maybe the wellness center, like, wants to have some involvement or maybe a booth or something, but, certainly that could be accommodated on Harold, north of Ward.
Absolutely.
Certainly certainly the market would support having like most of the event concentrated on that section. On that section, we wouldn't have any problem with that, like with that. The vacant lot on the south side of Harold and Ward could be used for parking as well. We would volunteer that for that use. But I think also if you had that section of from Ward to the wellness center closed, then I am wondering where everybody's going to park would park for the event.
Yeah, I'm just remembering that they're wanting to block that off just because there's going to be stuff going on with the wellness center, not necessarily, it's going to be.
What's going on at the wellness center?
I think the library is going to do something,
Oh, okay.
and then the fitness center. So I'm trying to get, but we can talk more about that.
Okay.
Yeah, let's leave that for now.
Yeah, there potentially could be just walkway or a connector point or something.
No, I don't think we need to close it off there. We'll discuss that.
My only concern with both blocks too, then there is the parking, but then also
Like where you're gonna go.
traffic to this section might be a little bit more trickier as well. So, does council need more information or like,
I think
or do
so.
more?
Yeah, or do we just not?
Or we could approve the north section and then,
Exactly.
if the committee is, feeling really strongly about something
Go
different,
back to it, but
there's still a little bit of time.
I think it's approved the one.
Yeah.
block.
I'm certainly open to being convinced if there was a clear, like a clear need or something that is planned to be used on that site. But I just, in my mind's eye, I think it would be more of a disruption than is necessary.
Yeah, no, 100%.
So.
And I don't think there's a clear reason why, other than, So the one block.
Because, then it's, people can travel north on Harold to Harold and Ward and then go left or right to find parking.
Exactly.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, so just leave it at the one block. We'll approve that for now, and like you say, if they're strongly wanting it, then we can come back to it, but I'm thinking that they're not going to be when we.
Okay.
I'll move the one block from Delaney to Ward.
Okay, yeah.
Moved by Councillor Knott, seconded Councillor Van Bynen. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? That motion passes. And then just really clearly, like, if there's, like, we're open to more discussion as well, there's some time.
Yeah.
So the next recommendation is that committee members speak with business owners on the commercial corridor to ensure the proposed parking plan during the event is suitable and that applicable signage and marked detour routes be mandatory during the event to direct traffic.
Move that.
Okay, moved by Councillor Knott, seconded Councillor Van Bynen. All in favor? That motion passes. The next is that council approve or not approve the request place for porta potties next to the old WIA building on Harold Street, and that volunteers be assigned to ensure cleanliness of toilets throughout the duration of the event, including supply of paper products. Moved by Councillor Van Byden, seconding Councillor Knott. Any comments? Hearing, seeing none, all in favor? That motion passes. And then the next one is financial contribution. So the council awards, so we need to provide some money for budget. And I think there was some conversation about like providing a budget position enough for musicians, potentially swag and the needs that were included. did we have, like, 5,000? 5,000? And then
Right, that's what it
CBT was
was.
going to provide 7, so that would provide a budget of 7 in total.
Right.
So 5 coming from us?
Yeah, I would move 5.
Okay, from the community development grant,
Yeah.
moved by Councillor Knott. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Van Bynen. All in favor? That motion passes. The next is that council consider attendance at the event to officially cut the birthday cake and dedicate the time capsule.
I'll consider it.
Yeah. Moved by Councillor Knott, consider it, seconded, Councillor Van Bynen. All in favor? That motion passes. And then the next one is that the committee members be directed to speak with the Slocan Valley Housing Society to obtain approval for placing the time capsule and commemorative tree at the site of the new housing project. So I think that one, it might be tricky because the whole site is a construction site.
Ready.
There is potentially room between that site and the tennis court, so that could be a consideration as well. But the first step, when I read that, I was just like, it's like the whole, there is like right in full construction mode right now. But we could direct the committee just to connect with the housing society, just to confirm or not confirm if that's going to work. And if there's another place that makes more sense, come back, like we can always come back. Yeah, go ahead.
One thing that we could consider is like there are already going to be trees planted and like ground disturbed and landscaping work done on Harold Street. In the Harold Street commercial core. So perhaps one of those trees that we're already intending to be planting could be commemorated toward the 125th anniversary, seeing as both those projects are occurring on the same year. I'm in support of the housing society side as well. I think either is good, but if it's the Slocan Valley Housing Society, if the site is not ready for something like that, then I think that there could be that the Harold Street project could also be a good fit.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think that'd be good with that.
Okay.
Trying to find a spot to plant it.
Yeah. So did someone want to make the motion, just directing them to connect with the housing?
Sure, I'll move.
Moved by Councillor Knott, seconded Councillor Van Bynen. All in favor? That motion passes. Okay, so we have a number of information items. Are there any that folks would like to pull for discussion? Okay. Any others? I'll pull D as well. And I. I can't see. No. Councillor Buller, I can't see you, so are there any that you wanted to pull?
No, nothing that seems to be sort of hot off the press.
Sorry, I
Nothing
couldn't hear
really
you.
seems. Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't see anything of interest that is overly interested.
Okay. So first, in terms of RDCK board highlights, just a reminder to folks that they are online. The biggest item is that the RDCK did adopt the 5-year financial plan from 2026 to 2030. There was, CBT is providing a grant for RDCK park systems, and it's a $1 million grant that can be used for enhancements in the 27 existing RDCK regional parks. It wasn't clear which ones and what they were going to do, but it will support enhancements based on work plans and prioritization. So staff will take that away and they'll come back. But it was an amazing gift to the regional parks through RDCK. So electoral areas A, B, and C, dangerous and aggressive dog control service, they'll be going to an alternate approval process for those areas. I'm not gonna read everything. I'm gonna go through the key pieces. And we didn't have any grants that were approved. But a reminder to folks that RDCK board highlights are great. They do pull the beautiful stuff out of the meeting, leave the boring stuff behind. And also all the agendas and minutes are online as well on the RDCK website. The next one I just thought I'd pull is the SBM funding for new trees to enhance your community. I don't know, I didn't take a deep dive into it. So I'm going to do it right now, but I was just thinking it might be one to pull for staff to take a peek at and see if it could be a contribution to the Herald Street to reduce it. It might be worth applying for. So, I'd see, because if there's a way.
Yeah, that would be great.
I just wanted to double check the
Tie into the
deadline.
project,
Yeah, so I just been looking.
June 16th.
Okay, excellent. So, so if we can maybe have a motion directing staff to look into this program to potentially as a contribution to the Herald Street project. Yes. Moved by Councillor Knott, seconded Councillor Van Bynen. All in favor? The motion passes. Councillor Knott.
Sure, I just wanted to pull the name change announcement. WE Graham Community Service Society is changing its name. It's now going to be known as the Slocan Valley Community Service Society. There's a statement here as well as it's on their website, and I believe it will be run in the Valley Voice as well. But I think that the kind of main thing is that the name change wants to encompass that the society has grown and is taking on a broader scope of service, and that that they're providing services from Hills all the way to Crescent Valley, and that they basically it was to kind of take note of how the growing scope of the organization, and also to reduce confusion because there has been a lot of confusion with the sharing of the name and a little bit of a lack of awareness of the society because of that. So just wanted to flag that for people that I'm going to have a hard time not calling it WAGs, but it's it is a kind of the start of something new there. So it's pretty exciting to see.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you. And we did, Councillor Van Bynen and I did meet with our MLA, so we did let them know about that process as well, that WAGS is the Slocan Valley Community Services. Yeah, but we also really spoke to the importance of an organization such as that for bringing services to our communities in rural areas as well. So, yeah, congratulations to this. I didn't poll the RDCK understanding the building permit process, but friendly direction to staff that it would be a good one to share out as we're moving into building season. And then the other one I wanted to flag was so the provincial budget, the BC Select Standing Committee on Finance and Government Services will be coming through. If any organizations wanted to present to the committee, they would need to indicate to the, I think the deadline was on Friday, but they said this week it would be fine. I don't think we have anything to present to, but every year there is the standing committee and consultation. And so in June, there will be a presentation and the committee will be holding public hearings, and the closest place to us would be in Castlegar. Yeah. So just flagging, if anyone's interested in provincial finance committee stuff, it will be happening in June in Castlegar. And then friendly reminder, it happens every year. So if there's anything you're feeling passionate about, it's sort of the vehicle. It can be organizations, but even individuals can be approved to present on the budget or contribute and provide input to the provincial budget. Anything else to pull? Okay, hearing none, I motion to receive the correspondence moved by Councillor Van Bynen, seconded Councillor Knott. All in favor? That motion passes. Reports. So we do have the Public Works report. So administration pre-bid site meeting was held for the Springer Creek Park Avenue Creek Bank Stabilization Project. And so I think we have a RFP out, and there was a mandatory site visit, so that's what he's talking about there for the bridge replacement. Transportation and roads maintenance, pothole patching is ongoing. Additional materials have been purchased. Spring Boulevard and sidewalk cleanup is underway. Minor pruning of boulevard trees has been performed, and this is required to prevent equipment damage. Environmental services, spring cleanup, April 13th to 16th, and this is coordinated with the RDCK to ensure bin availability. Public health and welfare, interior door lock keypad has been added to the gym. Yay! Sweet victories. Parks, rec, and cultural services, spring parks cleanup and prep is underway. The beach park leaf and branch removal, it has been completed. Snow blower removed and the mower deck has been installed on the grasshopper. Ball field mowing has begun. Preparing for ball field fence removal and installation of vehicle barriers at access points. RV firewood processing complete. The woodshed is filled. approximately 15 cords have been produced. Fallen tree removed from the SBOA grounds, and removal branch cleanup to be done at leaf, it says leaf, but leaf removal and branch cleanup to be done at the library. Water plant freshet beginning. Gwillim Creek turbidity levels are increasing. Replacement spare valve actuators have been purchased and received, and this is a critical item. The SCADA alarm dialer modem has been replaced and operational. Water system, ERCP draft completed and under review, and water consumption is at a yearly low. And what else is there? I think that's it. We don't have our stats. Go ahead, Councillor
There's a
Knott.
motion to receive the report.
Okay, moved by Councillor Knott, seconded Councillor Van Bynen, and I can't see you. Councillor Fuller, there you are. Any comments or questions? Hearing none, all in favor? That motion passes. CAO report. Somebody else want to read it? Sure, yeah.
I can read it.
Amazing, thank you so much.
Sure. So just up top, that outlines some important dates. On March 9, the audit begins. March 11th, these are the past dates, things that have just occurred. March 11th, campground contract RFP was posted. The March 20th, Springer Creek Walking Bridge RFP was posted. March 30th, Springer Creek Walking Bridge mandatory site visit was held. March 31st, the utility billing penalty deadline. April 3rd, Good Friday. April 6th, Easter Monday. April 8th, the Herald Street Project stakeholder meeting was held. April 9th, the campground contract RFP deadline concluded. And April 11th, the Slocan Affordable Housing Project open house took place. Today is April 13th, the regular council meeting, and then spring cleanup week is taking place this week, April 13th to 16th. And the 17th, the Springer Creek Walking Bridge RFP deadline will conclude. AKBLG in Trail is upcoming this weekend. And the next week on Monday, the 20th, the Ready Grant public input meeting will be held, followed by the funding allocation meeting on the 27th. The 1st of May, campground will open for the season. May 4th, special meeting, budget presentation and bylaws. And May 12th, the ONA salmon release at Slocan Lake. As far as on the admin side, annual audit started the week of March 9th and has now been completed. Auditors are working to prepare the draft financial statements. CAO is working with the CFO on MFA borrowing submission. Staff are beginning preparations for the 2026 general local elections. Advanced voting will take place Wednesday, October 7th. General voting day will be Saturday, October 17th. Meeting held on April 8th with Herald Street stakeholders, businesses, and residents in the downtown corridor in advance of project startup. Mayor, CAO, and engineer were in attendance. There is a long report on the Herald Street beautification project here that I won't read all aspects of it. It gives an outline of basically the history of the project starting in 2018, from the conceptual plan to the detailed design plan. When RFP was originally issued in 2022, and we hired Lawson Engineering at that time to complete the Herald Street detailed design plan. Then it walks through the design plan and into phase 1, which was Herald Street West, and so that is the project that is being currently proposed, and a phase 2 of Herald Street East is currently pending with significant funding applications in for that project. Phase 1 would be the west side of Herald Street from Delaney south to Ward Avenue, and the total project cost for that is just over $1 million. And the other side of the street, the east, would come in at just under that. So awaiting notice of funding decision for the east, but the Harold Street West, at the very least, is scheduled to go out for tender for completion of works in landscaping this year. It has a draft timeline included here, including some of the deadlines for water main permits and forest work plans, the stakeholder meeting, and then the RFP is to be issued this week, April 15th. The deadline for submission will be May 15th, and the contract will be awarded June 1st. Civil works are going to begin in June, and during July and August, it stipulates that the roads will remain open as this is tourist high season, and only low impact work will be occurring at that time to accommodate the local businesses. Work will resume in September and continue until weather permits, essentially. And then whatever work remains will be conducted in early spring of 2027. So I think a lot of that will really depend on the scope of the funding, which I believe it says in here that we'll find out in June.
Yeah.
Right.
June-ish.
But whether or not the east side will be included in this round of works. Yeah. It gives an update here on the stakeholder meeting. It was basically just an opportunity to hear comments and concerns prior to the implementation. There was a few potential revisions that were suggested by stakeholders as far as actually implementing the project. And that's about it for the Harold Street project. Springer Creek Walking Bridge project, again, this outlines the history of the project, where the funding originated from, the original flood event that caused it, and then it kind of goes through a list of what is the work that is going to be completed there. Some minor tree removal and removal of the existing bridge to be stored on site for repair. Locate and delineate a 150-millimeter water supply pipe. Install approved stream diversion, and so that you can divert from one side to continue to proceed with the work. Removing existing riprap, apron, and sub-excavate creek bed and regrade bank per depths and grades specified in the drawings. Then at that point, the bridge can be replaced and the site can be cleaned up. That is currently out for RFP, with the deadline for submission fast approaching here on the 17th. That concludes the report.
Thank you, and I feel like you had the hard job.
No problem. It's okay, you talk a lot.
There's a lot being completed. Any questions or comments? No. The Councillor Buller again. Motion to receive. Moved by Councillor Buller, seconded Councillor Van Bynen. All in favor? That motion passes. Okay, so we have the loan authorization bylaw. Yay, it opened. Okay, so attached for council's consideration of first, second, and third readings is the draft loan authorization bylaw to authorize borrowing from MFA in the amount of $200,000. After first three readings, the bylaw will be submitted to the Inspector of Municipalities for approval. In terms of a background, in September 2020, the village successfully purchased the former mill site for $1.5 million. At the time of purchase, the village had no debt. As the village's debt did not exceed the annual liability servicing limit, the village was approved by MSA to borrow up to $845,000 under the short-term borrowing assent-free liability zone, meaning electoral assent was not required. The loan was interest only, with a requirement that the balance be repaid by December 18th, 2025. The village was fortunate to have received $450,000 contribution from CPT and contributed $205,000 from its own sources. 2 one-time payments were made, bringing the balance owing to $600,000. So at a special meeting held on February 18th, 2026, council resolved to make a one-time payment of $400,000 from the village's operational surplus reserve to pay down the mill site loan, and staff were directed to initiate the process of applying to MSA for long-term borrowing of 10 years for the remaining $200,000. Implementation, so council needs to give first 3 readings of the village Slocan authorization bylaw. Then we would submit the bylaw for statutory approval. Then upon receipt of approval from the inspector, adoption of the loan authorization bylaw. Then there's a quashing period for the bylaw, 1 month post-adoption. If no objection, apply for certificate of approval from the ministry as is required by MSA. Municipal security issuing resolution, and then council would give first 3 readings to a temporary borrowing bylaw and adoption of the bylaw. So that's essentially the process. At this time, the village of Slocan currently has no debt aside from the $600,000 MFA loan, which again was short-term borrowing. The village's operational surplus reserve will be used to repay $400,000 towards the loan, leaving $200,000 remaining. As the village's debt does not exceed the annual liability servicing limit, the village may borrow up to $200,000. The village intends to apply for the loan through MFA. It would be for 10 years. So, any questions on the process? Basically, we would pass first 3 readings, then inspector approval, then adoption, then quashing period. Did you have a comment for that?
Just that I think we should speak a little bit to the decision-making process for this as well, for so the public can understand the village's deliberations and discussion around this decision. Essentially, the decision to seek this small loan amount was given with consideration to basically the impact to tax rates on residents, and we wanted to structure this in such a way so that when the loan converted, because it was going to need to convert it to long-term borrowing at some point, that when we start to make principal payments as well as interest payments, that there would be a negligible impact on the tax rates for residents. So that was essentially kind of what guided our thinking towards this plan of action. There was a lot of deliberation at that time about exactly how much to contribute from the surplus and how much to seek financing for and for what term. But after extensive deliberation with the CFO and chatting through like the village's next 5-year financials and the operational budget for this coming year, as well as additional years looking forward, it was decided that this would be the best approach with the least impact on tax rates. So I just wanted to give that little bit of color.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. Another note as well, just for members of the public who are here and online, is that there was deliberation too and concerns, like we're not depleting all of our operational surplus, just there's the importance of having that liquid capital available as well. So that was part of the conversation as well, keeping the balance of negligible tax rate impact, but also making sure that there are reserves. Had we paid the full 200 off, then that would have brought our reserves down further. And there is definitely benefits for having that reserve fund available as well. The other part of that conversation was surrounding, and we've had it at past council meetings, was surrounding, and I think we have directed staff to look at potential properties to sell to refill our land cap reserve as well. So those are other pieces. Any other comments? Or does somebody want to move first 3 readings?
I'll move.
Okay, moved by Councillor Knott, seconded Councillor Buller. All in favor? That motion passes. No late items. Items brought forward, nothing brought forward from in camera. So council reports, Councillor Van Bynen.
No, I don't think I do have anything.
I think the big chunk of your, the 125th was in a report.
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll have another meeting on the 27th.
Okay. Yeah, excellent, and kudos and gratitude to the committee. Yeah. Councillor Buller?
Hi, thanks. There was no joint resource recovery meeting last month. There was not enough items on the agenda, but there is one coming up this coming Wednesday. But other than that, nothing to report.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Knott?
Sure, I just wanted to report in a little bit more detail on the stakeholders meeting that was held for the Herald Street revitalization project. Just that it was really quite well attended. I think that all the invited property owners were in attendance, and that it was a discussion that was meant to be, directed around how to minimize the impacts of the implementation of this project. There were a number of quite reasonable concerns that were brought forward that I think can be adequately addressed, including some access concerns and things like that. But overall, I think that there is some excitement around seeing this project finally coming to life, and just how much character that it's going to really add to our town. So I'm just grateful to see the project moving forward, and that we're finally looking at RFP. So yeah,
It's a journey. It's a journey as a small community.
Yeah.
Where you're procuring the capacity to do the concept and the community engagement. And then once you get to that point, it's like, oh, you need the detailed design, the engineering, for implement and the full-on design. So getting funding for that, and then to get funding for the actual implementation. It's like so. Really do appreciate it, and appreciate as well that the current concerns that were brought forward, and we're doing what we can to address those pieces. But thank you. So motion to receive. We didn't receive Councillor Buller. We'll do Buller's first. Moved by Councillor Knott, seconded Councillor Van Bynen. All in favor? That motion passes. Motion to receive Councillor Knott, approval report, moved by Councilor Van Bynen, seconded Councilor Fuller. All in favor, that motion passes. And I have a very not fulsome report, and I don't think I'll be capturing everything. I did attend LBLA. Did I already report out on that piece? It's the Local Government Leadership Academy. So I was in Richmond from the 12th to the 14th, which I believe is why I wasn't here for the regular meeting. Yeah. And it was phenomenal. Like, again, if there's ever capacity to go for the local government leadership training, just really, yeah, super beneficial. There was a lot of talk about storytelling and being able to tell the story of your community and tell, the story of the journey for all of these projects. And, yeah, so super grateful to have attended. Usually I haven't, but I took it up through RD. Councillor Knott's already spoken up regarding the Herald North stakeholder meeting. April 10th, so on Saturday, there was the affordable housing celebration of the starting of the work. It was a fantastic event organized by the Housing Society. Yeah, so the MLA was here, BC Housing was here, Slocan Valley Affordable Housing hosted it. Who else was there? Council was there. Some councillors were able to make it. And yeah, so there was cake, there was a naming, so the new name of the housing is Kimsquin Headwaters. And so that was announced as well. And so the Affordable Housing, Slocan Valley Housing Society, they're not taking applications yet, but if people are interested, they can contact or email the Slocan Valley Affordable Housing, get on the list, and then they can get updates for when those applications are going to be taken. North Mountain Construction was there as well. Right. And then folks took tours of the housing, and it was pretty cool. So the other thing is earlier, because the MLA was coming to that event, Councilor Van Bynen and myself met with our MLA and provided an update on all of the village, what's going on in the village, what are our projects, what are our concerns, what are our priorities. So it was an opportunity to communicate all that we're doing, all that our needs are. I feel like, MLA North Edmonton, he comes from local government, and so I think he gets local government, especially in smaller communities. So it was really nice to have pretty much a full hour with him just to fill him in on a lot of what we've talked about here, including the Herald Street project, our water plant priorities, boundary expansion, the housing, and more. I forget. And we did mention the change to W. Graham Community Services to Slocan Valley Community Services. And whenever, as mentioned before, just really reiterating the support for those nonprofit and social services, critical in rural areas. And then, it's a little bit scattered, but on Thursday as well, the Minister of Housing and Municipal Affairs was in Trail just for one day, and there was a last-minute invite for a roundtable conversation. So I was able to attend that as well, just again to provide the lens of a small rural municipality and a lot of the pieces. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. But I did want to actually ask council. We've received an invitation to attend that it's community resilience meeting that's being hosted by Slocan Valley Community Service Society. Chris. Wags rolls a little better. It's next Monday. I won't be able to attend, but if anyone else is available, if you could either let myself or Michelle know. I think it's close to a full day, but even if you could attend a partial day, I think the intent is just to make the connection between service providers and organizations so that if there was a future emergency, we have those connection points in place. So think about it. I think I sent an email out, and if you are able to attend, it would be great. If not, I planted the seed that maybe one of our staff could attend for a bit. Not Michelle, but maybe Fred. I planted the seed with Michelle. Or Deb.
What time on Monday?
Yeah.
I paid her for the Ray ground.
Oh, right. Yeah, no, it's during the day, so, yeah. I've left it with Michelle. Michelle has all the details. That's it, though. Motion to receive. Moved by Councilor Knott, seconded Councilor Van Bynen. All in favor? That motion passes. Okay, and so we do have the committee report. So we have minutes from the 125th for March 2nd and 23rd. Motion to receive, moved by Councilor Knott, seconded Councilor Van Bynen. Anything further coming out of those minutes? I think the report on the agenda covered it all. Okay. All in favor? That motion passes. And now we are at public participation. So, welcome, public. We have some public online as well. Yeah. The 3+. Oh, yeah. Yeah. You guys want to go first?
No, go ahead, Becky.
I was representing 7I at the bottom here. Daphne feels that's me, and Wolf, we didn't come because we were alerted to the fact that we would not be able to present tonight, even though that was the hope over the last month or so. And while, as we say in public participation here, it's not an issue that you're currently dealing with, per se. There are no cell towers necessarily on the horizon. However, what we need to alert people to is the general health effects of ongoing proliferation, and especially the fact that there is, among the community between, say, Winlaw and here, a lot of feeling that there's, that we've had enough in terms of cell towers, that another cell tower would not be good, and more proliferation is not needed. So that doesn't come out in the petition of over 200 people. There's about 2/3 represented here in the immediate BOD 2CO, and then another bunch up from Winlaw. And there are other people around who are quite happy to see what we've got is enough. And the fiber optic thing keeps coming up again and again. I remember when that's what was laid down, that wasn't so many years ago. And, I thought, oh, okay, hooray, because I've tracked this issue for a long time, being a sensitive one. 8.5% they're saying now, and growing. Fiber optic, and in this kind of the end comment there, Caslo does have that. They have fiber optic laid everywhere, and then the last mile, as it were. And that's really, in terms of health, what should happen here. But anyway, I think it's a relevant thing, and the reason why you might think it's irrelevant for Slocan Village and Council is because the proposed spot where a cell tower might actually go is actually on RDCK land. However, it's a federal issue, so if you delve into it, if there is a cell tower that is in the works here, then a federal government demands that the provider, if that's what like a Rogers or a TELUS or something is, we call it provider, is in touch with the local municipality, and that the local municipality people, as it were, have to have some sort of say. So that's federal law, and that will happen, and that is what happened actually in Windell. And they had like a couple of weeks to, scurry along, and then everybody was saying, no, we don't want the cell tower here, we just don't want that, you know? And they denied it. So if that's what's gonna happen here, you know, a lot of us are, you know, I mean, it's a lot of work, right? I went through these 200+ petitions and, you know, can't people write better? Anyway, you guys have a copy of it. And I think it's significant. So those are the general health concerns. I think people at the beach are happy with what they get. If they're not happy, then we should go for something that's superior to starting, which is what a lot of people are unfortunately doing. Because fiber optic is a superior thing. And if it costs more than what we would argue, is that in the long run, the health concerns are more costly. And finally, the reason why we don't get more of this information, and all of you councillors will have had that little presentation, you know, it's not much focus on kids, is because our standards, like 606 and the American standards, of course, are lower than in Europe and so on. And like we know that Australia just banned cell phone use in schools and so on. So it's a big thing that I've personally been involved with. You know, I haven't made any money from it. It's not my job. But it's my passion, as it were, because I see the detrimental effects. Anyway, so that's what we missed tonight, and I'm hoping actually that we could have a chance to do that in June, and then other people might come and watch just some very basic things about what's happening around the world, and maybe what we could get here, which would be better.
Yeah, I just wanted to respond, in terms of the cell tower, there's not, like, we've heard nothing, from the village and nothing through the regional district as well. The only thing, like, the one thing that we did see was, when, the landholders, the, Arena Society came to present about its subdivision, and we just noticed that there was a tentative cell site, and so there was a little bit of a conversation there, but we have no details of that, have not heard anything since. So, just to be clear, it might be worth connecting with the landowner, just to find out, but in terms of process or communication, it's just not on our agenda.
It doesn't come to you at all?
Well, if it was, I don't know if it would come to us, it would come through the regional district, I would think, and yeah, I don't know if there's any, if it would come to us at all, but I just don't, yeah.
It would though, federally.
Yeah.
They demand that the municipality, and who else but.
It may or may not, depending where it was. So just, I guess the key piece is we don't know if that's happening or not. So maybe connect with the RDCK or the potential landowners. The other piece I wanted to mention was surrounding the last mile, and the village has done a ton of advocacy over the past 4 years to get last mile fiber to the home. Mm-hmm. Originally, we were left out of an application to get to, by CBBC, to get last mile to Slocan Valley residents. So there was multiple UBCMs and advocacy with citizen services, and finally, the province did say they understood that we aren't served. So another application went in on behalf of the village to support that last mile for within the village. So that will be happening as part of the larger last mile project through CBBC.
To be continued.
Yeah, to be continued. So. Yeah, those were the 2 points that I do appreciate it. It's just, there's a lot on our agenda that's actually on our agenda. So, like, it may or may not make sense for it to be here, but you could have an information session at the hall. Also, your presentation, we have received it. Yeah, or just for interested parties. But at this point, as I say, we haven't heard anything. I haven't heard any rumblings. It was only just sort of an ad hoc communication for a different matter about it. So I have, to my knowledge, I don't even know if that's a thing.
Yeah, I'd like to see a wider focus. But so, bottom line is you wouldn't be interested in the presentation here, not now, not May or June or whatever, on the general thing, given that so many Slocan people were concerned.
Yeah, well, it's up to, like, we received the information, but but it's not an imminent, something that's happening within, there's no village business at this, or it might be another venue might be appropriate at this time just to share the information out. We've received the information as part of our, information item, so we are aware, council is aware, but I would put it up to council as well. We're thinking, council.
Thank you for approving our proposal.
Yeah.
We might be coming back next month to say, you know, we might need to work a little bit more with Public Works and, you know, as it flushes itself, depending on what money we get and how much of the project we can move forward with. But yeah, this is the last you've heard of us.
Yeah, well, thank you too. It was like, yeah, we know.
Thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
Dave was the original, mover on this one because he was part of actually getting it up there and doing the original display, right? So,
Right.
yeah, it's just like this is the next step. How many years later? 20 years later? 25 years later. So yeah, it needs something. It looks like it's abandoned.
Yeah, 100%.
So, anyway, you'll hear more next week.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joyce, and with that?
I'm good.
Yeah, okay, well, thanks. Any, I do see public on the online here. Any comments? And looks like the other public members left.
Looks okay,
Yeah. Okay, hearing none, going once, going twice, going 3 times. Motion to adjourn. Councilor Van, thanks everybody. Really appreciate it. Yeah, thanks, Ezra. We'll see you.